Hello everybody, welcome to Nostalgia Goggles. I'm Chris, also known as Retro Gaming Nerd, and we have a new Turtles game out quite recently. Now, it's not like we've been starved for Turtles games or anything. We have had, the Battle Nexus games, one that came out, I think, in 2012, based more around the comics, and others along the way. But we haven't had a side-scrolling beat-em-up game since Hyperstone Heist, accuracy be damned. So with that being said, when there's a new one that came out, there's a lot of things that could most likely happen with this game. We actually have no clue how good it's gonna be, and I'm just giving you bullshit at the end of the day. This game is awesome. So let's find out why this game is your cup of TMNT. I'm not apologizing for that. So like many of the other Turtles games before it, the story can be broken down to Krang and Shredder take over New York City for some reason. So it's up to the Turtles alongside April O'Neil and Master Splinter to save New York City. And also you get Casey Jones if you unlock him. So that's pretty much the story. There's not much to it, but that's to be expected since this is pretty much like the other Turtles games. Now, at this point, I'm going to give a straight up warning because I think that there is going to be spoilers visually in this game. And I think that at this point, if you don't want the game to be visually spoiled, you should probably stop here. But if you don't mind it, and what I mean by visually is I mean that there is going to be levels in this game that are farther than, let me put it this way, we have the full playthrough in this episode. I might not use those clips, I'm not editing at the moment, this is the voiceover segment right now, but I'm just being careful. I know that if I saw some of these levels, I'd be a little upset, so just, I don't know, just play the game. Just play the game. That's pretty much all I gotta say at this point. I just wanted to give heads up. So if you like what you see and you don't want to see past the first few levels, then that's all I can say. I think the game's been out for like 2 weeks at this point. So yeah, that's all. We're gonna move on to the gameplay segment.
Let's kick shell!
So I'm going to start this like this, right? Turtles in Time has two modes that are important to define your experience of playing this game. There is the story mode, which I'm going to go into in a second, because I feel like that's where the meat and potatoes are going to be of this conversation. And then there is the arcade mode. The arcade mode is just the simple game of the story mode, just without the perks. And I had no way to fit that in, and that was the part that kept tripping me up. So with that being said, let's talk about the story mode, which the story mode is kind of really where the game shines, because the story, even though like I said, isn't that important, it's how it's presented, because it works on a map system of New York and beyond, of course, which is pretty cool that we go beyond New York. I was actually very afraid that this game would only be in the city, which the game would have been cool, but I was hoping for something more like Turtles in Time. This is definitely not. It doesn't go that far, but it does take you out of New York, and that's pretty cool too. So it's not as crazy. You're not gonna get prehistoric turtlesaurs, but you are going to go out of New York, and so that was pretty cool, and I didn't expect that. But going back to the gameplay though, this is an improvement, and here's why. Because it plays like the original TMNT, Turtles in Time. It has the throwing mechanic, it has, the special moves, it has the attacks, every turtle feels separate, but now you have gauges and you're also able to level up, which the leveling up allows you to gain new moves. It also allows you to fill up your charge gauge, which is new to this game, but kind of not really. See, in every Turtles game you had a special move, but it either took away from health or had to be done in a specific way. This one, instead of it taking away health, it takes away from a gauge, which I think is nice. And also leveling up also gives you extra lives and boosts your health, which makes the game easier as you go. And I just think that's great. I think that's nice, because it could have just been a straightforward beat 'em up, but instead they did this very well. And I know that beat 'em ups do leveling up, but I actually like how this one is done. Even though it's very similar. I don't know, I just really like how this one is done. I just like how it feels. Another thing that's really cool about this game is the fact that you can use taunts, and the taunts also fill up your gauge for your special attack. Normally taunts just exist, but this one is cool that it does this. I don't know if this is the first game to do this, but I definitely don't think it is, but it's nice to have. Another thing that's really nice with this game is that I thought that we'd just be fighting only Foot Clan soldiers. And that could get easily boring. But instead of them just having the Foot Clan be the Foot Clan, they have them with extra weapons, which is not new. But you also just can't go attacking them either. You have to attack some of them kind of tacked, if you will. Certain enemies you have to hit at a certain time. Certain enemies you have to use, not an item, but use like the background and props to hit them. There's just so many ways to dispatch Foot Clan, and they're not the only enemies either, which is nice as well, which was a surprise as well. And last but not least, there's also secret characters in this game. See, the secret characters are hidden in each level, and they're either behind a door or behind a prop within the level. And once you find them, they unlock secrets or items that are throughout the map that if you come back to them, they'll eventually give you points, which can go towards you leveling up. Another thing that's also cool about this game, and after this I'm going to go to presentation, is that there are challenges with each level. And with the challenge in each level, it's nothing really special, but it adds to the replay value of the game because it tests your skill in various ways. For instance, it tests you in the way of not getting hit throughout the level, or not using your special attack, or not being hit by obstacles within the levels. Mainly, this one is mainly for like levels that are like on the hoverboard, really, where like it's like don't hit the you know, the girder or whatever. But it's nice to have these because it adds replay value, and it also kind of tests you a little bit, you know. So yeah, there's that. Oh, and I completely forgot. Unlike any other Turtles games, you can play with 6 characters, and that's really amazing. You can play with them simultaneously. The only issue with this game in how many people you can play with is that there is no crossplay. You can play online with people that have the same console, but it's not crossplay. So if you wanted to play with somebody that has an Xbox or PC or Switch or, you know, another console, you're not going to be able to play with them. But this game has not been out long enough for me to really complain about it. So it could be patched. It could be something that is fixed. With that being said, I said everything that I want to about, you know, the gameplay. I'll see you in presentation.
Pizza power!
So this game presents itself very well. I absolutely love how this game looks. It's colorful, it's poppy, it's just amazing. And not only that, it's musically great. Now, before I get deep into that, I do want to say that I am not a classic Turtles fan. I know Turtles more for the comic books and more for the video games. I think I am more connected with the video games than any other Turtles media as of late, except for like the new IDW comics and even the old ones, but this game isn't those. So if you're looking for somebody to talk about like the special characters and who they are and their meanings, I'm definitely not that person. But I do have a recommendation though, which is Cowabunga Corner with Michelle Ivy and Andre the Black Nerd. And the reason why I recommend those two is because for sure I know that they know more about turtle stuff, and I think that these references would mean more to them, and I think that they could make pretty good content on this game alone, just talking about like you know, these characters, what they mean, and maybe the levels might coincide. I have no clue, but they're definitely the people to go to. I couldn't recommend them enough. With that being said, outside of the lack of knowledge that I have, this shit is amazing, right? Because I absolutely love just almost everything about this game. The thing that keeps coming back to mind, the thing that sticks out the most, is the Foot Clan in this game. Now, the Foot Clan are always kind of doing little silly things in, you know, these turtle games. The one that comes to mind, the first time I remember it mostly, is like the Manhattan Project. But I know for sure they do funny things, like in Turtles in Time, they ride on dinosaurs, which is crazy that I'm saying this because now I kind of got to get footage to prove what I'm talking about. But the Foot Clan were always doing silly things, but not to this degree. Like, I love how when they took over the city, they did more than take over the city, they also took over the workforce, which makes you question how much Shredder's paying them, and then also after saying that, it makes you realize that they're robots, so they're doing this I have no clue, and that's kind of just what makes it great. Yeah, but that's the thing that comes to mind about the presentation, and also just the backgrounds and the stages themselves are amazing. But the thing that also keeps it together is the music, which is done by the same person that did Sonic Mania, which it sounds very familiar, but also like Turtles. Like, it sounds like Sonic Mania and Turtles like just met, and I absolutely love it. Besides that, they also have some really great artists that are in this as well. They have Mega Ran for the song Pizza Party, and then they have Ain't Gonna Lose, or Ain't Came to Lose, by Ghostface Killer and Raekwon from Wu-Tang, which is a beautiful marriage of concepts, because I am so surprised that Wu-Tang and Turtles, to my knowledge, has not crossed over. It feels like something that should have happened back in the first movie, even down to the song Turtle Power, right? It kind of reminds me of that feeling, and it's almost movie-like to have this really great song. And actually, most of the songs, all the songs actually, that have lyrics to them feel like they belong in a Turtles movie. And that's kind of crazy, because this game really could have just been a licensed title. But it felt like, from the way the animations work, from the way that the game works, from the way that the Turtles each move separately, and same thing with the other characters, and so much in this game feels like a really good licensed title, which is crazy because licensed titles as of today aren't thought of like this. So Nickelodeon went above and beyond for this within the presentation alone. Not just to mention the gameplay is great, but the presentation is there too, and it's amazing. I love it. I also love something else in the presentation that I don't have in the script, is that every turtle does something and says something differently. Like, they fall into a hole and each turtle says something differently. The turtles react to the level that you're on, because at the beginning they'll say something like Donatello comments on the turtle van and Mikey comments at the theme parks. You know, it's really cool to have that, and that commentary is only better when you know that the old voice actors return, and they didn't have to, because they didn't in other Turtles games, once again to my knowledge, but it's really nice to have them here now. Either way, it's really great to have these voice actors back. It's great to have them, it feels great, and it also feels it just feels really great. With that being said, let's talk about the accessibility, because it really doesn't matter how good this game is if you can't get your hands on it.
Pizza power!
So since this is a digital game, you can get this game pretty easily, since it's only about like 24 bucks. This is on most modern consoles, which is, you know, the Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation, and you can also get it on Windows and Linux. But don't really worry, because this game isn't going to be like Scott Pilgrim due to the fact that there is a limited run version of this game. There are about like 3 different versions of this game that you can get from limited run. Thank God the limited run on this one. I actually really enjoy that limited run did this. Do I wish that there was a store version of this game? Definitely. But you can get the normal copy of it for about $34.99. You can get the classic version with a fancy VHS box, steelbook, an art book, and a pizza coupon, which goes for about $64.99. And then there's the radical version, which is just a whole bunch of crap. I'm just gonna put a picture up, and you can get that for about 200 bucks. Now, I am absolutely happy that Limited Run is doing this. I absolutely love that this game isn't gonna stay digital, so that we will not be able to lose it in the future. Game preservation is very important to me, and just very important in general. So it's really great that in the future, people will be able to play this game, hopefully without the possibility of it being lost, because after all, we did lose one before. Scott Pilgrim is back, but like, it still was a kind of a wake-up call. So it's amazing that Limited Run is doing this. With that being said, let's talk about the goods and the bads.
Pizza time!
What isn't good about this game? It plays like a dream. It sounds like a dream. I'm afraid to wake up. But like, everything about this game is near perfection. And that might just be because it's a beat 'em up, and beat 'em ups are pretty simple. Like, it's very hard to screw one up. Kind of, it's actually easy to screw one up, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's just so easy to say how good this game is. It's surprising that Nickelodeon put so much effort into this game. They didn't have to, and it's surprising on how much effort they put into it. This is a really great game for classic Turtles fans, for modern Turtle fans, really, and even just people that like beat 'em ups. And if you've never played a beat 'em up, or you've never played a beat 'em up that you like, this might be your game. This might be for you. I really think that that's a bold statement, but it's a really great beat 'em up. And if you vaguely like Turtles, I think this is for you. And if you like beat 'em ups, this is for you. I would boldly even say that I prefer this game over Turtles in Time to a degree, and I'd love to see the team that made this game come back and make another one. It'd be really cool to see another take on this game. That's how good it is. That's how much I like it. But enough with the goods, let's talk about the bad on the most technical of technicals.
Oh, shell shock!
There's gonna be one day where I review a video game that has like a legitimate bad section to it that like is just bad. But today's not that day. In reality, the only bad thing about this game, and it's not even really a bad, it's just in the world we're in now, I feel like we are definitely spoiled with crossplay. And I feel like crossplay is something that should be in many games. I don't know how easy it is, I don't know how hard it is, I'm not a programmer anyway, but I would absolutely love to see more crossplay in games. And this is one of them that I love to do, because not all of my friends have the same console as I do. And it'd be nice to, you know, play this game through crossplay. The game doesn't really cost that much at the end of the day, so like I could just tell my friend, hey, buy this game on the Switch. But it'd be cool if, you know, I could just play it outside a console. It's not even really a big deal. It's kind of like a oh boo-hoo moment, you know. But it's something that I do think is that it should be put out there. It's not really even an issue. It's just one thing that came to mind while playing this game. That's really it. That's really it. With that being said, let's go on to the final thoughts.
My patience is wearing thin.
There is absolutely no better way to say it. This game is absolutely great. And I think that if you are interested in this game, you should most definitely get it. You probably have. But not only is it a great game, it's also really great at how many people worked on it, how much time and effort is into it, and also that it's being kept alive by Limited Run, which we are not sponsored in any way. You know what to call us. But with that being said, this game is absolutely great. I know that this might not be for every single person, but please give it a try. It's great. It's worth the price. Nothing more to say. Kind of gave you that vibes that this was going to be a gushing episode anyways. With that being said, I will see you guys the next time on Nostalgia Goggles.